Presented by Bet365, welcome to Greta Bar in anticipation of Game 5 of the Battle of Ontario. Nick Alberga and Zack Phillips live on location. Producer Vic behind the camera getting things going here as we get closer and closer to puck drop. What's going on, Zach?
I'm pumped up for this one. I think we all knew that it was going to be hard to get 4 straight, no matter who you are and what series you're playing and who the opponent is. I wish that once you got up 3-0, they could have closed that one. But regardless, I'm pumped for this opportunity tonight. Game 5 at home. Got the Sens coming in here, do-or-die situation. It's just like an opportunity to close it out, but at the same time, it's an opportunity for the Leafs to show us that they're different.
I've heard way too many statistics over the last, 72 hours. My favorite statistic, the Maple Leafs 3-0 in the Stanley Cup playoffs when we're live on location at Greta Bar. So it's an automatic.
It's the only one that matters.
Yeah, it's all 1-12. I don't care. 3-0 at Greta Bar. That's a win. That's success here.
Do you want to hear something psychopathic before you move forward? So Hutz gave us shit. He said that on the show this morning. So I'm okay. He was chirping me a little bit because I was like, oh, we're 3-0 at Greta. We didn't do the show here on Saturday. So I know it has nothing to do with what happens on the ice. I do know that. But at the same time, it's in my head, I'm like, man, I gotta do it. So I was like, I can't do this half-ass. So we didn't come to Greta. So I did every single thing differently. I wore a different hat, shirt, pants, shoes that day. I had the different routines during the day. I'm not kidding. It's
you take
nuts.
The morning skate too, or
I wore glasses, dude. It was entirely different.
I was taken back. I won't lie when I hit the show with you and you turned into Clark Kent somehow.
Yeah,
it's like I was watching Family Matters back in the day. Stefan and Steve Urkel. I got the both. I don't even know if you get that reference, but
yes,
I didn't even realize.
I at least know that.
I didn't realize that you wear glasses.
Yeah, I wear contacts. Wow. I wear contacts, but I decided to put them on. Then I think part of the problem was that we've been doing the shows here, which means I wear my contacts for 13 hours straight, which doesn't really bode well for the eyes, and I wear them every day. So then I was like, all right, glasses it is.
Yeah,
for today, but I
they
changed
suit
everything,
you.
dude.
Did you know that I used to wear glasses?
No. No way.
Got laser eye surgery when I was 21.
Wow. Yeah. It worked out. You're all good.
Yeah, no, great. I was that kid who would just constantly sleep on their glasses, and I was the plug who would play minor hockey, wear the bird cage and the glasses under. I couldn't wear contacts.
So I didn't need glasses. This really has no impact on
tonight's
show or anything.
Filling airtime. Yeah.
I didn't wear them, didn't need them, and all of a sudden it was one day in high school. I'm sitting at the back of the class. And I'm like, can't tell what the hell's going on. I'm like, all right, time for glasses. Went and got them, but then I would play hockey, and it was okay, it's not that bad because I go like that, and I could see the clock.
Yeah.
I could see the game. It didn't hit me until I was playing lacrosse in the summer, and you're trying to see the little white ball, and the walls are painted in white. Yeah, and I'm just in there staring, and I was like, yeah, I'm done, because I refused to wear the glasses underneath.
Well, you're lucky you wear glasses now. When I wore glasses, I got called Four Eyes. You got chirped for wearing glasses. Now it's an accessory. It's like wearing a watch now. People wear glasses. They don't even need glasses. So a lot different. I hope the referees wear glasses tonight. You like that segue? Professional segue right there.
Yeah, that's what it's done.
The officiating. I hope that there's not an impact officials-wise, but I wish I could say that about the previous 4 games in this series. It's been a big story, and I thought Ottawa won the special teams battle in Game 4.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, some of it you shot yourself in the foot, right? Max Domi takes that penalty early. It's an unnecessary penalty in that game. It's a lot of it is just context. Sometimes we can sit here and break down X's and O's of everything until our faces turn blue, and we're going to do that. We do a show, you and Rosie and Hutz, when he comes on, do it Monday to Friday. We have enough time to do that. Sometimes, though, it's just taking a step back and looking at situational stuff. Dude, you're 5 minutes into a game on the road against a team that's backs against the wall, and you punch the guy in the head off the draw. Every person in the world saw you do it. Everyone was looking, being yeah, that's a penalty. You go down you're behind it right then. You get the power play opportunity. That's the one time, honestly, too, by the way, that it felt like Marner being the forward as the defenseman makes the pinch over on the wall, and just there's not enough guys or not enough rotation coming back the other way. It gets through his legs. That was just the one time it got exposed, but you're down in the game, and there it is. Their power play, they score on. Your power play, they score on. You're behind the 8 ball, but Yeah, I don't want the officiating to become a story at all here tonight. Like, I don't want to see it. If it's bad, just be bad both ways. Don't call any penalties. And if it's good, great. Be good for both teams. Like, I just don't want to have to wake up tomorrow morning after the Leafs win this series 4-1 and have Sens fans crying on my Twitter page, oh, the officiating screwed us. Like, let's just not let that be the case. Let's play this one on the ice tonight.
Again, this is the Leafs Nation pregame as we get set for Game 5 of the Battle of Ontario with the Maple Leafs leading the series 3-1 down the road here at Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. We're live on location at Greta Bar. If you don't have any plans for the game, come on down right now. Great nachos, great drink, 590 King Street West, and hopefully not a jinx being here at Greta, but a good jinx because they're 3-0 when we're here at Greta Bar. So come on down if you went. Plenty of seats still available here on location at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Should mention as well, our Super Chat charity partner this season is Sick Kids. Want to make sure that your question or comment gets on the show. Hit us up with a Super Chat. Proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, ranked the #1 research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and 3rd in the world as we move closer and closer to puck drop. Are you stunned? No lineup changes for the Maple Leafs tonight.
Stunned? No. It was one of those things, like, if they did change the lineup, I wouldn't have been surprised, but I'm not surprised that they didn't. I read the comments there. I like just seeing what people think about, like, the team and the lineup and stuff, and I asked you on Saturday night if Nicky Bobby comes back in and what you thought about that, and the amount of people who are on either side of it is pretty hilarious. But, you know, people get creative. Maybe it's time Pacioretty goes up, Holmberg comes out of the lineup, Robertson comes in. Like, people were coming up with different ways. I have no issue with the lineup as it is right now. The one thing I think with Nick Robertson when it comes to whether or not he would go back in the lineup, especially in a game like this, is I don't get the sense, I don't know if you feel differently, but that Craig Berube trusts Nick Robertson that much, right?
No.
And that's an important thing, especially you're in this situation. You have a chance to close this thing out. You don't want to let it get uncomfortable. That penalty that we talked about with Max Domi, that's one of those ones that I think Berube knows and everyone else knows he's going to say to Max, or even if he might not even have to say to Max, honestly, dude, you can't do that. And he's going to know, like, he should have known before he did it because it's kind of fucking stupid, to be fair. But he knows after the fact, I couldn't have done that. Nick Robertson, time and time again, and I don't want to make this like a rag on him kind of thing because I actually have liked his play for the most part down the stretch, but he's done some dumb stuff where it's a penalty at an inopportune time. You know, it's a bad turnover in a spot where you can't risk that or afford it because he doesn't bring you enough on another side of the game. And I think that at that point, Craig Berube just said, not going to do it. Pacioretty looked better in the second game than he played than the first one as well. So I feel like there's just a sense that, like, he'll keep building, he'll keep getting better. And then, I don't know, what's Nick Robertson going to bring you trust-wise, more so than skill, speed, whatever, that you're not getting in the lineup right now? I think that they trust what they have in the guys in the lineup.
There's got to be reliability, too. And you look back at Game 4, they're one shot away from winning the series and winning the game, and Matthews hits the post to get the 4-minute power play, and we're not necessarily talking about lineup changes. But I do think there's cards that a coach can play in a series, and not to manifest anything. Like, if things don't go according to plan tonight and there is a Game 6, I think that's when you pull some cards, depending on what happens. Whether it's a Robertson scratch and score, as you like to bring up, whether it's a Joseph Woll. Like, those are the type of cards you can use later on in your series. You don't want to use your bullets too quickly. And I think from that perspective, got to remember, Max Pacioretty's played 2 games in the last 2.5 months. And he had a tap-in opportunity late in the game that he got stopped by Linus Ullmark, who I thought by far...
No, it wasn't even Linus Ullmark. It was Clevin knocked
it
off the line.
Okay.
It was in the air. It was like, you remember McTavish at the World Juniors when he
knocked double.
It was that.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
I didn't realize that.
It was even that much closer to going in. Yeah.
There you go. I didn't even see that, obviously, in person there at Canadian Tire Center. But it just, again, from a reliable standpoint, this guy's played a lot of games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And knock on wood, I mean, he's not prone to taking stupid penalties. Like, he can play that physical brand. I think in general, he's just more of a physical player. Like, I'm curious to see the matchup game, how they match up in this one specifically. I would say, and I was talking about on Leafs Morning Take today, how Berube hasn't been a victim of overcoaching in this series, where I think that was a big theme. And I'm not piling on Sheldon Keefe. I think he was a great coach, took this team as far as he could take them. Very curious to see how Sheldon Keefe would do with this type of nucleus now. Obviously, with the newcomers, the big additions that they've made to this roster. But Berube's not overcoaching, man. He's letting his guys do their thing. The matchup game, best on best. you always talk about it. Austin Matthews, you think you're one of the best players on the planet, prove it. And I think we're going to see a lot of Matthews against Tkachuk again tonight.
It's a good point on the matchups there. That was something I was interesting to see how he would handle it, because you don't really get too much of a sense of that in the regular season.
Yeah.
Like, sure, there's times where, okay, let me throw this guy line out there because he can take advantage of that line. But it's really in the playoffs where it's like every single coaching decision can become a mental battle. And that's kind of what it had become in years past, where that was dude, that used to make me sick to my stomach, just being like, I don't care how even the Leafs are to Tampa. I'm like, that's John Cooper over there.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to get fucked. And it's like, not trying to disrespect Sheldon Keefe, who's just a little bit younger and less experienced when it came to NHL playoffs. And John Cooper's just a savvy vet who knew what to do. Craig Berube, I feel like there's an element of just him being very smart and methodical about who's going out there and not overdoing it.
Yeah.
And also, again, back to the trust factor, I trust these guys. So, like the OT goal in Game 2 when Max Domi scored, there were people around us when we're watching that face-off. It's a D-zone draw. Max Domi against Claude Giroux in the D-zone. They go out there, and people around us are like, oh, fuck no, like we're going to get mismatched in our own zone, whether it's on the draw or just defensively. They win the draw, not immediately, but effectively they go down the other way and score on that shift, and it's like, I think a lot of that, whether right or wrong, is Berube trusting in his guys, which kind of makes the matchup stuff easier. Because, I've not been on an NHL bench.
Surprise.
Like, respect.
You
I know you haven't.
That was a sell point when you came into the company.
Yeah, but like I know, like, even when I had played junior lacrosse and stuff into the playoffs, there's times where certain situations it can get hectic on the bench where like I'm just saying that because that's the highest experience that I had. I just want to preface that. But it's like there's times they're on the bench, it can get a little chaotic, like, oh shit, they're sending out these guys, let's get these guys out there with that. And then now you're running up and down the bench trying to figure it out. A little different in the NHL, but I could imagine that can create some chaos and uncomfortability, whereas Berube, it feels like it's like, hey, you're up. Okay, go. Like, fuck, you got it. And then there's not that panic or anything. Everybody can keep a level head and just stay calm through it.
Again, we're inching closer and closer to puck drop. Game 5 of the Battle of Ontario. The Maple Leafs trying to take their second crack at eliminating their provincial counterparts here in the Ottawa Senators. About an hour away from puck drop. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Naturally, I think we should shift our focus to the elephant in the room. That is the core four. The numbers speak for themselves. Yeah. Historically, they've been dog shit in potential elimination clinching games. I mean, let's call a spade. 1 for 12 is ugly. I think tonight is a moment, a time for a signature moment, whether it's Austin Matthews. Why don't we start there? Because you haven't spoken since the game on Saturday, at least on our airwaves. I know over on Merrick's show you did the sheet, check that out. But what was your reaction when you watched practice on Monday and the captain's not there?
I'm like, oh, here we go again.
Seriously,
that's
the
true. First thing that went.
Did I overreact on the show? I know you were watching.
No, I don't think so. Look, we've also it's a hard balance where it's like we've been trained to have that. What's the right way to put it? Like immediate sense of panic, I guess. Especially
anything happens.
Like last year, all of a sudden, it's like I will never forget. I swear to God, for the rest of my life.
The Biz Nasty tweet?
The Biz Nasty tweet, like, yeah, Joseph Wall's not playing.
And everybody's like, yeah, good one, Biz.
Yeah, and like, yeah. It's like, I love Biz, but I'm like, oh, like this fucking idiot. He's pulling our legs. And it's like, no, he's not playing. But those moments scare the hell out of me. Yeah. Nylander not playing game 1. Matthews all of a sudden. And then it's like, yeah, okay, it should be different under this regime. Dude, Matthews went to Germany and we didn't know. During this year, the guy was in a different continent.
That's why I reacted as such.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, that is a little bit like, well, what the hell's going on? The saving grace for me to, like, okay, let's reel it in is just looking at how well he's played in other areas, even if it's not goal scoring or offensive point production or whatever. And part of that I just say because, like, you saw the stat tweeted out by Luke Fox. It was the goals are 5-0 at 5-on-5 when he's on the ice, and 10-1 at all situations when he's on the ice. And that one comes from the shorthanded goal that's scored. Yeah. He is very impactful in the game. Just that one thing you would like for him to do a little bit more is scoring. But again, Saturday, I thought he looked really, really good. But yeah, I was with you all the way. Yeah. He's not on the ice. I'm like, Oh my fucking God.
Well,
Again,
my excuse is like John Tavares went to the dark room the other night and he was on the ice. Where's the captain? I don't know. Again, I'm always careful not to react or overreact to this stuff, but when we've been conditioned to that type of situation many times before in the Stanley Cup playoffs, that's why I get a little annoyed. But again, Austin Matthews will play in this game. By the way, your psychopaths in the chat, they think this is vodka.
I know.
As much as I wish it was vodka, it is water, folks. You got to stay hydrated during these shows. Again, we're down here at Greta Bar, 590 King Street West. If you don't have any plans or close by, come watch the game with us. You can watch the game with producer Vic and feed him waters all night. How about that?
Yeah, you can sit beside this nervous wreck during the game.
Vic is the best to watch a game with because he just paces, and he does the same thing. Actually, we both started doing the same thing every intermission. We go and piss together. Not actually piss together, but like close to each other.
Oh, yeah.
And we do the same walk. Vic does the walk from the side. I go straight. Like it's a whole. And I think, again, we're conditioned to be superstitious here in Leafs Nation. We have to, I've always been that guy, so I'm going to continue that way.
Well, dude, I'm doing the same thing. This is the same outfit I wore for game 1, 2, and 3 here at Greta. I did the same. Again, back to the superstitions that I was talking about at the beginning. I did the exact same thing. I washed these clothes and only these clothes. Like, they're going to be the most ruined by the end of this playoff run, but I washed them again on this. I did the entire process the exact same again. So
Andrew Tony writes in, drink something that puts hair on your chest. Andrew, don't worry, I got plenty of that cooking. So does producer Vic.
I don't.
Well, Zach's younger, so we get it. You know, a couple more years of a couple nights, then you're gonna. Maybe it's a long playoff run. We can have some great nights here at Greta. Warrior Womp writes in, don't cross the streams. Don't worry, we do not. Blur Vanish writes in, Leafs in 5. I like that. But again, getting back to the point, core 4, and I know Gabby Boudreau took offense when I brought up the core 4 today. Fantastic 5. Matthew Nye, certainly in the conversation. 3 goals in this series, 6 goals in 18 career playoff games. Guy's an absolute stud. By the way, watching that goal in person, I was floored. Number one, it's tough being in a press box because I wanted to celebrate like crazy. That was such a big-time goal.
Yeah, what
I
did
gave
you
one of
do?
those, like, you know?
Yeah.
And then you look around like, oh, shit, like the least scratches are right beside me. Like, it's funny. Like, you're in the press box there, and Nicky Robertson's getting popcorn or Myers. Like, they're right there. And so you've got to be very careful the way you react. But I think we also understand, like, we are a fan-first podcast. So I gave it a, like, nudge, you know? I was like, and back to business after. So fired up about that.
I've been in a press box. I had one experience. It was for World Juniors this year.
And you Sally, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody looked at you. Everybody looked at you, right?
I went, oh, yeah, dude. I was like, yes. And then I was like, oh.
Yeah, but honestly, to your defense, I've been to a couple World Juniors. I think because you're Canadian, and it was in Canada, there is more reason to celebrate, but that is probably etiquette from like down the road where things have evolved a bit. People don't cheer in the press box, but it's more noticeable who people are supporting. We'll say that.
Fair enough. Fair. Okay, yeah. Fair enough. But yeah.
It's not like you walked in and we're wearing like a Jonathan Taves Team Canada jersey. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, at that level, then we're questioning. But I think from the Leafs perspective, keep doing your thing. They've been the superior team, in my opinion, in this series. But that's what I'm looking at. Number one, this is the reason why he brought in Craig Berube. He's a notorious closer. He's closed in recent memory with the St. Louis Blues. Stomp them. Put your foot on it. End it tonight. Finish them. Whatever wording you want to use. And I think along those lines, it's about the big boys who you pay all the money to. John Tavares has been incredible in this series. I still think there's another level for Marner, Nylander, and Matthews to get to. Just one of those guys. Have a game. Go out there and get 2-1. And I think the Leafs win this hockey game tonight.
I don't know where you want to go next on this one, but you know who the guy is that I think needs to do that and
Steven
might do
Lorentz?
it tonight? Yeah, Steven Lorentz.
I agree.
What do you call them, Vic? The Passion Brothers? Yeah, the Passion Brothers.
No comment. We got to get T-shirts.
The Passion Brothers.
The Passion Brothers. We got names for them now. Okay.
No. It's yes, I would like for it to be Matthews, Marner. I like for that. I expect Matthew Nyes to have another game here tonight. Like he just does it every single night.
Yeah.
JT's been pretty good at it. It's William Nylander. He hasn't.
Who's the most likely of those four guys? Sorry to interrupt. Who's the most likely of those four guys to have that signature game? I agree. It's 88.
I think it's Nylander.
Which is scary because
yet.
There's a guy who gets paid the most money in the league right now. That scares the shit out of me, man.
Yeah.
Where are you offensively? Anyways, I think it's Nylander.
Vic thinks it's Tavares,
Okay.
but I'm not going to argue
fair.
against the Tavares one. I think that's actually a very fair comment on him being able to step up. The reason I point to Nylander is because he's not had the game yet.
True.
He scored in game 1. He's been good at times here, but like I just keep waiting for that game where it's like every time Nylander's on the ice, every time Nylander touches the puck, we look at him and go, holy fuck, this guy's going to score right now. Like, you see that in games, big games, tough opponents, whatever it is, where he goes into that, like, where he goes into that mode where it's just like, you know what his Twitter bio was when he's drafted? I don't know if it still is. Give me the puck. He goes into that mode where it's just like, let's go. And in the Amazon Prime doc last year, they do that the focus on him, and there's that one game he comes back from the migraine and he's yelling on the ice, crosses the blue line, he doesn't get the pass, they go offside, and he's like, just give me the fucking puck. I'm waiting for that Nylander to show up, because I feel like he's in there. I feel like he's probably getting annoyed with some of the stuff, but I don't think Nylander has had that game yet where he's like, I'm going to get this puck. You're going to get the fuck on my back. I'm going to score, and we're winning this game. And he has that ability, and he hasn't really done it yet to this point.
Can't forget, a lot of these guys are alphas too, and I think just one guy just pop off. 2-1, 2-2. I don't care if it's Matthews. I don't care if it's Mitch Marner. But this game, weirdly enough, can go a long way in proving that this team is different.
Yeah.
The killer instinct is a big sort of phrase we've used in this market for a long period of time. Those fucking learning lessons. And I had to,
Did you see who's asked about it today?
Who?
Marner was asked about it.
Well, rightfully so. Like, again, dude, we've went bonkers with those quotes over the years about the learning lessons. When is this team going to prove that they've learned their lesson and have accumulated the wisdom necessary to come up big when it matters most in the Stanley Cup playoffs? We can joke about it until we're blue in the face, but it's a moment, it's a game like this where you have a team on the ropes, you're up 3-0, you played a really good game. How are you going to respond after that game?
Okay, what do you think about this? This is from Mark Masters. Mitch Marner asked about lessons from squandering the 3-1 lead in 2021 against the Habs. Quote, I don't think about the past or the future. I'm in the moment. And then on the chance to clinch at home, he said, Building's been rocking the first 2 games. I'm very excited to hear it.
The one thing I will say to piggyback off that, I love that there's been an emphasis from the players to get the fucking crowd going.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the last couple of days some of the quotes that we've never seen before, quite frankly, in the Stanley Cup playoffs, where it was like an actual PSA from the leadership. And I hate that we have to do it in this market, but call a spade a spade. The Ottawa building was louder than the Maple Leafs building, and I can attest to that. I was there for the games. I love the fact that these guys stepped up and saying, hey, we're going to put our balls on the line for you. Get loud and get proud. I love that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And look, America's talking about it on the sheet this week. It was like, he was asking me, and it's kind of funny, right? Like, they come up with the Marners leaving and the Matthews balding. Like, that's low-hanging fruit on the Matthews balding. But they're trying to get in your kitchen. They're doing that. Like, Brady sucks. Let's get the fuck on these people here tonight. Like, let's let them have it.
The play-in.
Give them the Allmark chance. Like let them have it. Let's get that energy up. I think that they actually did a pretty good job of it in games 1 and 2. You were there for 2 and got to speak to that a little bit, but it just sounded a little bit more energetic. One thing that I think you could kind of feel the vibe of sometimes, especially in years past, is like if the building is nervous. And it didn't feel like that in games 1 and 2. Like, again, we talked about that humble confidence. Felt like they kind of had that in the building through those games. Let's bring that again here tonight. There's no reason to be nervous. I get the history. I get the 3-1. I get the 1-12. You know, people can throw these stats out there all that they want. They can throw out all of these numbers about elimination games and teams' abilities to win series and all that stuff. Nick, honestly, you know, those are not numbers that are indicative of the future. You have an opportunity here to take things into your own hands and change shit here tonight. You have an opportunity to go out and just absolutely put the boots to the Senators to start this game and run them out of the building and win 5-1 here tonight and win this series 4-1. You have an opportunity to change all that. I don't care that Anthony Stolarz has not been a starting goaltender in the Stanley Cup playoffs for a lot in his past. I don't care that these guys have choked. If they win a 4-game series and you go on and you push for it and you have a run, all of that stuff gone like
Evaporated,
that. Alex Ovechkin, The guy had not won shit in his life.
True.
Obviously, still the greatest goal scorer of all time. That's who he is. But he hadn't won anything. He wins. Done.
Different.
Doesn't matter.
Stamkos.
Nobody ever says
Stamkos. Yeah.
Nobody says a word about it again.
I know.
Take matters into your own hands tonight. Those numbers are numbers that tell you what happened previously, not what will happen going forward. You just got to forget about it.
And I think there's been a certain calmness surrounding this team, having, again, the opportunity to cover them in the Ottawa leg of the series. Even in the post-game remarks, a very subdued, very calm Craig Berube.
Yeah.
Even in the post-game comments, I can barely hear William Nylander. He was like so quiet. And I mean, it took him a while to get out there, and he does his scrum and just on to the next one, man.
Yeah.
And Matthew Nyes, there's just a humble confidence to this team right now. And that's why I strongly believe they're going to come out there tonight. They're going to put their best foot forward, and they're going to put themselves in position to win Game 5.
Agreed.
And reward themselves with some rest before it really gets tough, in my opinion. You're going to play likely the Florida Panthers in round 2, not to jump ahead too much, take care of business. But I am a proud proponent, or a true proponent, in saying you need a short series. Well, here's your potential. 5 games, finish the job here.
Yeah, and you've played really well to this point. Yeah, sure, there's coin flip games, but guess what? You had to win them. You did.
Yep.
You won them. You're up 3-1 in the series. You deserve to be where you're at here tonight. Look, a lot of this is just beating the same drum, and we're going to do this over and over again until puck drop here tonight in about 30-something minutes. And we're going to probably have same conversations, going forward into the next series and all that kind of stuff. But it's again, if you are a different team, you want to tell us that.
Yeah.
You want to prove that you're a different team. The fan base has been behind you, saying they're different and starting to buy in and believe on this. You want to prove to people outside of Toronto or to your own fans or whatever, or prove to yourself you're a different team. It's just there's no better opportunity than this one here tonight. Yes, Saturday 4-0 would have been great, Nick, but again, I didn't really expect this one to be done in 4.
Yeah.
I would have loved for it to be again, but it's this is that moment. You get this one done, and it feels like it's going to just get rid of demons in your own heads. It gives you that breather. It gives Stolars a break going into the next year. It just gives everyone some time to not have to answer questions and deal with shit. Just get it done, and let's fucking move forward.
Turn the page, as simple as that, at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Again, Nick Alberga, Zack Phillips on location here at Greta Bar YYZ, 590 King Street West. If you don't have plans for the game, hop down here. I mean, we're just a stone's throw away here from downtown Toronto, only a couple blocks away from the arena. So maybe you didn't get into the tailgate or something like that and want to join us for the affair, watch the game with us. Zach's going to do TLN After Dark after to break down the game. Carter Hutton's going to join the show. And we got all avenues covered here from Greta Bar, so make sure you check it out, nationgear.ca, where you can pick up one of these shirts right now. Now we go, 3 different colors. We're in the white ones, of course. We've got navy blue. We've got black as well, so make sure you check that out. But a big thing I'm looking at tonight, we talk a lot about the core 4, but a moment from anybody. Scott Lawton. Bob McMahon's another guy, mired in a 15-game goalless shot.
Yeah.
It feels so good if somebody like that, Max Pacioretty. The depth scoring, to me, has been an evolving story in this series, where you look at the Maple Leafs, they scored, 15 times in 4 games here, 5 from the D, but they've got some depth scoring, guys like Domi helping out, and that is what we've been looking for years from this team. They've checked a lot of boxes, and in my opinion, that's a big reason why they're all 3-1 in this series, Zach.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, to this point, you've pretty much had the defense that we all expected them to have, limiting opportunities, limiting chances to the front of the net. I keep looking at that second and third period in Game 4, and it's too bad that you weren't able to get out of it. And maybe this is what made producer Vic pucker his asshole a little bit more, watching 4 shots against, 3 in the second period, 1 in the third period there, and then it's it's unreal D, but obviously they end up tied going into OT, which you could have possibly had the win there. But it's guess what? You want to talk about doing a process and doing those things for extended periods of time and that being a winning recipe, that allowing 4 shots through 40 minutes of play, specifically a second and a third period, it's going to win you a lot of games. It's just what happens on the other side. So that defense checked off. The goaltending for 3 games, really, until the last one, where there was a couple of weaker ones in there, had checked a lot of boxes. The big boys have some points. I think if you're looking, there's not so much there's not as much I want this group to perform or this group to do anything. You're probably more so looking at individual players. The guy that sticks out to me a lot right now is Bobby McMahon.
Yeah.
And, I had some pushback the other day for saying it, but I stand by it. Like, Bobby McMahon can drive that third line. Like, he can really go
with his
and
speed,
it's with his speed and
Yeah.
and getting in on the forecheck, and then that shot is pretty deceptive.
Yeah.
He's not using it right now.
No.
Like, I love Bobby McMahon, but it's the reality. He's just not using it. He's not taking advantage. If he starts doing that here tonight, that's 4 lines. Like, right now, you're really getting 3.
Yep,
Because
I agree.
that fourth line, you've called them the third line. I
Yeah.
agree 100%.
Yeah.
The 3 lines you're getting are coming in waves. You add a fourth, I think that this thing is over. Like, if that third line shows up tonight and the other 3 play that way again, I think that the Sens are up Schitt's Creek without a paddle here tonight in this game. If they're able to have 4 lines of attack and 4 lines of depth coming at them over and over. But it's Bobby McMahon who's like the catalyst there for me on that third line to fucking go.
I love this from KPG in the chat. Riley slapshot empty
He
netter
DM'd me
to
that
win the
earlier
series
today.
plus 6,500. Is that real?
I don't know.
It's not, but I honestly really want this series to end with a Maple Leafs empty netter and a clap bomb top cheese
I want it so
with
badly.
Ridley Gregg on the ice, please. Thank you.
I want it. Look, dude, I'm getting greedy with that, but
Yeah.
I would want that so bad.
Yeah.
So bad.
That'd be great. The goaltending matchup. I think we can both agree that for the first of 4 times in this series, Linus Ullmark outperformed Anthony Stolarz. It wasn't his best effort. It's not much you can do that he was cold. The Leafs were stifling defensively, which you love to see here in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but I'm looking for a response from Anthony Stolarz just in the way he plays the game and just no soft goals, please. That's all I ask for.
Yeah, and for Stolarz, I mean, I think it's just same mentality. Go into this one. I think you'll be fine. You're going to get the defense in front of you. They played really well, limiting opportunities. I imagine they're going to play pretty smart in terms of, like, penalty-wise and trying to stay out of that. We talk about the refs to kick off the show, but, like, I don't think you're going to have to face too much of that. So stop the ones you're supposed to stop. That's the baseline because that's what the Leafs haven't gotten in years past. It's Samsonov, looking literally like I have like visions in my head of Samsonov turning around and like looking at the crossbar while a guy in the slot is shooting at it. It's just
That
like,
Trent
what the
Frederick goal
fuck,
last year,
man?
I was there for that.
Off
Was
the
like,
post and in. Yeah.
how did that go in, man?
Freddie Anderson, I remember it was Jake DeBrusk, I think, burning down to the corner and rips one from the goal line. It hits his ass and goes in. It's like, those are killers. Stolarz, for the most part, hasn't allowed that. Anything beyond that is just, icing on the cake there to kind of put you over the top. On the flip side of things, for the Ullmark goalie side, the one thing I thought about, and I was listening to Hutz talk about stuff with Ullmark. I'm like, I think it was Hutton. I was breaking it down, maybe with the Morning Cup of Hockey Boys. And I was like, shut up. He's like, maybe it's like, or maybe it's Noodles. I've listened to all these
steal a
goalies.
game. That's
But he's like, Ullmark, maybe he's going to feel better about himself for getting a win. I'm like, all right, shut up with that. Enough. The one thing was in that game, dude, he still didn't look that great.
Yeah.
And he beat your goaltender that game by 1 goal.
Yeah.
By 1 goal. Like, it wasn't a blowout here or anything. He's, again, didn't look that great. I think you keep putting pressure on him, getting those shots, those opportunities, it's going to make him uncomfortable.
I know it's cliche, but I think the first goal is monumental. It's big. It's huge.
Yeah.
The Leafs have played catch-up the last couple games, which, again, I like the fact that they've proven they're able to come back in hockey games, especially in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but I want the first goal in this game badly.
Yeah, I talked to this fucking guy earlier, and he's like, the key to the game for me is, I'm like, what? And he's like, who scores the second goal?
That is, producer Vic's been trying to get in my dome the last couple days about Stolarz. I woke up excited for my number 1 goalie in Toronto. So producer Vic's back on board with Stolarz.
Yeah. He said he never didn't believe the guy.
He's just a big Joe Woll guy.
Yeah. Look,
I get
it. The starting this game with a goal does so much more for you than just give you a lead. It gives you a little bit of confidence. Honestly, think about every single, what is it called? The butterfly effect? Every single piece
Good
that
movie.
follows this,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like, you score first. Your arena's in it. Some of that anxious energy, it's gone. The anxious energy on the bench, it's gone. your offense starts to feel a little bit better. You feel comfortable. The defense can keep playing that shutdown game because the Leafs don't really go into park the bus like LA Kings mode, what they've been doing against the Oilers. But holy fuck, they can shut shit down. And if you go up in the game, it's a lot easier to do that. And then the other thing is, you know who it puts a lot more pressure on if he's down 1-0? Linus Ullmark. Yep. You open that game up, you get that first goal, and all of a sudden he's sitting there like, I've done it again. And now you can keep going, keep pushing, keep bringing that. And then it goes to producer Vic's point. The next most important goal, who scores the second one?
I was going to say, like, not to be a jackass, but I think the biggest goal is the third goal. And the reason why I say that, no, I'm telling you, the reason why, and you guys can attest to this, going into OT Game 4, I texted you guys. I'm like, they're going to win this game, which they didn't.
Yeah, right.
But the Leafs are, 48, 3-3.
Yeah.
When they score 3 goals in a game. So that should actually, funny enough, we're joking about the second goal. 3's the magic number for this team. You get to 3 goals, you're like that's you're an odds guy. That's overwhelmingly in favor of the Maple Leafs. They scored 3 goals in this game.
It is. And, even looking at all of that again, it's you score 3 here tonight. That's not something you've gotten a lot in playoffs past. It's something you're at least getting here a decent amount through this first round, through these first 4 games, hopefully again here tonight. But you have the backup to help you win those games. Like, you want to talk about things like the fucking analytics community and going nuts about expected goals and how much you're supposed to have. But the thing is, if you get those 3, your defense on the other side is limiting a lot, not giving up a lot of chances. Stolarz is making the saves. You get to 3. Fuck it. The third goal is the most important here tonight, Nick.
Every goal is important for the Maple Leafs. I love that, though, because the funny thing is like you look at this series and we're 4 games in. I love the fact that we can actually talk about an offense that's not anemic, right?
Yeah, I know.
Power play, 5 for 13 in the series. They scored 6 goals in game 1. They got 15 goals in 4 games in this series. It's actually a breath of fresh air to talk about offense. And if you remember correctly, through the 82-game slate, the calculator community was really wondering if the Leafs could score goals, and I think they've proven them wrong so far in the series.
I know, boring hockey. Yeah. It's not fun to watch. The life's out of them. Well, they're up 3-1 in the first round here right now.
It's close, though.
It's close. Three OT games. 3 could be 3-1 the other way. Whatever. It's not, so it's 3-1 in favor of the Maple Leafs. I think that they've played the right way here so far. I think that they've played well enough to give them this 3-1 lead, or to deserve it, I don't know, man. So I was reading some of that shit. I'm like, yo, what are we talking about? It's 3-1 in the fucking playoffs. At some point, you can toss the shit out the window.
Well, no, it's like the prime example. Like, hypothetically, the Leafs win the Stanley Cup. There will be somebody in the analytics community that say, but. No. They won the cup. They won the series. They won the game. It's just, again, these individuals cannot admit defeat. This team is different. They're going to go out there in Game 5 tonight, folks, and prove that they are different. So we're looking forward to that. Want to get in on the action for Stanley Cup playoffs at Bet365? They got you. From game props, player props, totals, and the money line, you can even bet on futures like series winners, conference champions, the Stanley Cup champions, and much, much more. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. An official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit connexontario.ca. What do you have for me?
The one bet that I'm going to go with here tonight, there was a couple that were interesting, but it's Matthew Knies anytime goal plus 300. Back home, I think Berube gets some matchups. Still a net front on the power play. That doesn't change. I'm interested to see the intensity. What the fuck game is that? I'm interested to see
very loud
intensity that the Sens come out with, and what ends up happening with the reffing and the penalty situations and stuff, because traditionally I believe it's the first 3 games of the playoffs is the most penalized. Then it starts to dip. So how is that going to go, and what opportunities are you going to get there? But if they do get power plays, he gets to the front of the net. If they don't, this guy is more than capable of scoring, especially in these big moments, intense games, physical games. Matthew Knies is a prime candidate to score any given night. At plus 300, dude, like I'm literally getting better numbers than I've gotten in a couple of the past games. And I know that this doesn't go into some of the math of all of these betting things, but it's like, you want to talk about a guy who's going to have a great great approach to a game like this, it's Matthew Nyes. Like plus 300 for a goal tonight. Fuck that. I'm in. Like plus $50 on that one is $150 profit. So that's my best bet.
I think ultimately you look at guys who have historically been clutch players. John Tavares in that conversation. If you want to look at some props with regards to him. And I know it's short. It's like, 3 playoffs. But Matthew Nyes, 6 goals in 18 career games in the playoffs. So I like that look. I'm going to keep it simple. Willie Nylander. I just think this game is labeled for your prototypical Nylander game. I don't think he's been awesome in the series. I think he's been good. But I thought, he took another step last game. But I think we're going to have that signature performance. And the other thing I'm going to play, I know the last 3 games have gone to OT. I like the Leafs in regulation. I think they take care of business tonight, and I wouldn't be afraid to sprinkle some on the puck line too. I think the Leafs will be authoritative in the way they play this game tonight.
Yeah, I think if you're going to win this one here tonight, I think you got to just take control of this game like you did in game 1 and roll it right through. Like, just take advantage of every opportunity that you have. Anytime you get those chances, you got to be scoring. You got to be capitalizing 5-on-5, any of that stuff here tonight. I could see that very easily, in reg. -1.5 was something I looked at earlier. You also want another one. If you're betting at Bet365, which everybody should, I just checked, it's the best number across any sports book. Like, you're not getting this number anywhere else right now.
Nowhere but Bet365.
Plus 1,000 for a small bet, like a small sprinkle. Morgan Rielly anytime.
Okay.
He's playoff Mo. He's got 2 here so far in this series. I think he probably got shit on a lot for that OT power play, which I think he deserved, and I was one of the people doing it.
Yeah.
But I feel like he responds here. He's been a guy who's stepped up in a lot of situations when it comes to the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets one here, and you're getting honestly, the main reason I say it is you're getting an unreal number at Bet365 right now.
Bet365 is incredible numbers. The one number I would really like to take a flyer on is E-Bug Vic Paladian in Montreal to win the Conn Smythe Trophy. What's that number? Plus $1 million, plus $2 billion, plus $3 billion. I still think that was producer Vic as the E-Bug in Montreal the other night, man. It just I couldn't believe that when I saw that.
Vic and his wife are sitting on the couch watching the game. She sees the E-Bug come out and she's doing the DiCaprio meme.
Yeah. I could see a video where producer Vic's doing the Spider-Man and whatever that guy's name, what are we doing in this league, by the way? Not to go off
in the
tangent
playoffs,
here.
we got E-Bugs.
We got producer Vic as an E-Bug, an injury away from your boy Jakub Dobesh. What a name, getting hurt, and producer Vic's coming in. Like David Harris, you all know by now, I've been doing this show or working at this company for 3 years. That is my PTSD.
Yeah.
I was the Leafs radio host calling that game, and I love Gord Stellick, but he was trying to be reasonable, and I was like, Gord, they just lost to a beer league goalie. And Gordo's Gordo, I get it. I lost my shit. I think producer Vic was there. Story for another day, but producer Vic now in Montreal, so he's not actually here. I want those numbers. Plus $1 billion. Anyways, we're going to leave it at that, folks. We are fired up. Now we go nationgear.ca, where you can pick up the merch right now.
Now we go.
Our former social media guy on location wearing a T-shirt. Our guy Ryan, who you want to talk about Conn Smythe front runners right now after his appearance on After Dark early on in the playoffs. But any final words, Zacharias?
No, we talked about the weathering the storm and all that kind of stuff. This is, again, a chance for you to just bring your own storm. The Sens' backs are against the wall. I think in Game 4, you knew you were going to get the best effort from them. I think you did. Period 2, period 3, you pretty much found a way to shut it down. And I just think this is your chance to show that you're different. Show that you have a different makeup, mindset, approach, all of that. Come out ready to go from the opening puck drop. Take control of the building, the atmosphere, all of it. Get people involved. Get people excited about all of it. Just come out ready to go right from the very beginning. And I think that you're going to have this thing in control. I think you're going to have an opportunity, a very good opportunity to win this game tonight. Just... Again, it's easier for me to say because I'm not in that room and I'm not the one who has the demons on the ice, but you should be able to win this game. Win the fucking game. Just win.
Baby?
Just win.
Call him a baby? Maybe just win,
Just
baby?
win, baby.
I think
now we go.
Yeah, we're fired up here. That's all we got for you here at Greta Bar. Again, final call. It's starting to fill up. dramatically here at Greta Bar YYZ, 590 King Street West. If you want to jump down here, watch the game with us. Plenty of seats, plenty of opportunities still here. Great nachos too, which I'll be ordering directly following the show.
I'll be getting those as well.
I should mention as well, make sure you stay tuned after the game. Hopefully a win, but even a loss, Zack Phillips will come to you on location here at Greta Bar with the Leafs Nation After Dark. And we're going to have Carter Hutton
He's got a flag.
straight from Thunder Bay. We do it. Well, KPG's got a flag here. Let's get him in the mix here. How are we feeling about this game, KPG? You were just in the chat.
For sure, guys. I'm telling you, get down to Greta Bar because we're all feeling great about this game. Everything is humming. Everything is going sweet. And you know what's different about the last game? In prior seasons, they would have lost that game 7-2 because they took the gas off the pedal, but they didn't do that. They could have won that game. Tonight, they're going to finish it off.
There we go.
You heard it here first at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. As referencing, Carter Hutton will be on After Dark. Tune in to Leafs Morning Take tomorrow. Rosie back in the mix, and Brian Burke is going to drop by the show. And Burkie's always got a couple things to say about this Maple Leaf squad. Thank you to producer Vic. Thank you once again to Greta Bar. Enjoy Game 5, folks. We'll talk later on. Take care.
For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. And